Welcome to another episode of Less People. I'm Jenny Russell. There is a debate that goes on in our office about some of the best TV shows out there, and historically best TV shows, and two of the TV shows that come up often, and it's kind of a competition between the two for which one is the best. But the competition is between the TV show The Office, the American version of The Office, and the TV show Parks and Recreation. A couple years ago, I had never seen either one of them, and two of my office mates were always referencing and talking about those two shows, and all of the different puns and things that come off of those kind of TV shows, and I had no clue what they were ever talking about. So they challenged me one time to sit down and actually watch those shows. So I watched every season of The Office, and then when I got done with that, I watched Parks and Recreation. So the podcast question this week is going to be, which one is better, the TV show The Office or the TV show Parks and Rec? So I'd love to hear your input as to which TV show reigns superior between those two. So after actually watching both of them, I came up with the fact that I think Parks and Recreation is my favorite out of the two. Not that I dislike either one, but I like The Office, but definitely Parks and Rec is probably my favorite. And one of the reasons why is because of how accurate it is with my everyday life and the job that I do. And I get it's a fictionalized version, and it's a version that is played up for comedy, but some of it rings very, very true. So we're going to do some analysis here between Parks and Recreation and real economic development as to what similarities there are about this. The first clip comes from one of the best characters on the show, April, and she is very deadpan, a lot like Wednesday from Wednesday Addams type of a person, and this is a clip of her, so listen in.
Ordinance goes through, there's too much red tape.
This gridlock drives me nuts.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to make an end run, Go right to the commissioner on this one.
You know what, I hadn't thought of that. That is a really great idea.
Yeah?
I'm gonna do that.
Okay. Your last resort is probably gonna be city council.
Good luck there.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. I have no idea what I was saying.
Alright, so what I learned from this clip is the learning curve is big when it comes to economic development. I don't think people realize that all the intricacies and how to conquer these big subjects, and then actually how to get things done in this world. It takes about 3 to 5 years to really know what you are doing in the economic development world, to understand all of the local issues, and then to understand the local solutions that are out there, then to understand the state programs, and then the federal programs, and then all the private grant foundations and programs that can help you get this work done. Also, the intricacy between boards is really interesting. It's nice to have two boards. I've heard some economic development people say that they are just a city economic development, or they are just a county economic development. Right now, our economic development is set up as a county economic development, but the major city in the county does pay a little bit more than the others. But there are certain things that you can always... certain issues that are better addressed by either a team approach of both the county and the city are on board, or a county board might not be very progressive at that point. And if you stick it out long enough, you start to realize that the progressiveness of councils and commissions vary depending on the election and who has been elected. So sometimes you get a county commission that is not very progressive and doesn't really want to spend money on anything, or they don't really understand their role and how to get things done. And then you just kind of wait it out till the next commission is on, and that commission might have a completely different view than the first commission. Same thing with city councils. Sometimes you have a very progressive city council. Sometimes they are a very laid back city council. Sometimes they don't want to pass anything city council. So It's nice to have a good variation between what you can get done through the commission and then certain things you can get done through the city council, some things that you can work together on. So it's just always different, and it's important that you have both options, because certain grants can go through the county and then certain grants can go through the city, and then certain grants are better produced when both work together. So it's nice to have a combination.
Hey April, how's it going?
Fine. Except hearing Joan talk about her passion and doing what you really love, like, totally freaked me out. 8 years ago, I accepted a random internship at the Parks Department, and then Leslie told me to do a bunch of stuff, and now I'm executive director of regional whatever. I don't even know what it means, and I never even asked myself if I even really like it. I mean, it's like, what is my purpose in life? What do I even care about? My insides are dying.
So, not fine.
I don't know what to do. I have to quit.
To do what?
I'm just gonna go live under a bridge and ask people riddles before they cross.
All right, in this clip, she talks about being an intern and how she's questioning her life because this is not the way she thought it would go. But I think all of us that have been in just working world a long time understand this very much. Sometimes you get into certain aspects of work that you never even thought of when you were a younger person, or when you were going to a college, or when you were going to a tech school. And now that you've been working for a while, you're like, this is not something that I ever thought I would be in. My husband actually has a physical education degree, and he was going to be a teacher, and he didn't have a teaching job open in the district that he wanted to be. He wanted to be in this home district here, and there was no teaching jobs when he first came out of college. So he took a job at a bank, and then he became a banker for many years with a physical education degree. And so there's just some curveballs every once in a while. I was just talking about internships, and we have a really solid internship program around here with the Next Gen Run Up for Youth internship program. And those of you that do have access to a internship program that regularly allows you to take on interns throughout your organization, it's a real advantage. They bring in new ideas and new skills that maybe you do not have at the moment in where you live or in your job. And so it's nice to have them come in. And then it's also nice for interns to see and be exposed to your town, your area, your community, because if they don't have exposure to you, there's probably no way they're going to choose you unless they have lived there first. And even then, students that have grown up in your area maybe don't realize all the opportunities that are available, and internships expose them to that. I've actually wrangled quite a few interns over the years. It's an advantage for the organization and the businesses to also have intern access, because those are potential new employees and you get to try them out before they become full-time employees, and you get to know them and their skills. Our current architect, Harley, she's our current rural architecture lead, and she was one of our interns. We've hired a few over the years that were in our office as interns. So interns always give some nice exposure to potential employees. Okay, another clip from the Parks and Recreation that made a lot of sense is this one here.
Thank you, ma'am. What a story. Anyone else? Anyone? This gentleman wants to say something.
No, I don't.
Come on, Mel. You're always up in arms about something.
No, I'm not. I'm not always up in arms about something.
Here we go. That's the spirit.
So your department banned me from attending games just because I yell you suck at the players.
According to the complaint, you yelled it at 5-year-old girls.
Who suck? Why is that so hard to understand?
But I got something to say. One at a time, please.
I hate the one-at-a-time system.
Well, I don't carry my birth certificate around with me.
Why? Because you're hiding something? You should go back where you came from.
I am back from where I came from.
That sentence was confusing. You might as well be from China.
That's ridiculous.
Is it?
I'm from here.
The crowd is getting very hostile, Ms. Nope. I'm gonna get you out of here.
Oh my God.
Back on! Speak English!
Bye, everybody.
So how many of you have actually ever attended your city council or county commission meeting? I'll let you think about that. most people haven't. That's what I have learned. And when I first was in economic development, coming right out of college, I had to go to a lot of city council, county commission meetings, and I realized how important those meetings are. Not necessarily for a watchdog type of a thing, not necessarily because they're not competent on their own as a board, and I can't just trust what they're doing. But people are not always educated about how things go through government. They don't understand all of the different items and intricacies that councils and county commissioners have to consider when they're making decisions, and most have never had exposure to those organizations until they serve on it, or if they have an issue and they actually show up. Those are the only time most people attend. And I always thought, once I leave this job, I'm going to always attend council, and I'm going to continue to do that as a civilian after I was in economic development the first time. The reality is I never went. It just didn't prioritize it as a citizen of the community that wasn't involved in something related to the government already. But I do feel like it's a really important thing to go and understand how your councils work. I've had people go, oh, that person has to be great on council. I'm like, have you never been to a council meeting? That person is terrible on council. But a person in public doesn't necessarily mean that they're a great person to have on a council or a board. So going and actually understanding who you've elected, and then what kind of issues they're actually dealing with, and how they're being able to deal with the budget that they have, is a really important dynamic. But you see all kinds of people when you're on county commission and city council. Some of them are very heated emotionally once they get there, or before they even get there. You're dealing with some nuisance abatement issues. You're dealing with things that people just get upset about, and a lot of people don't understand how the government works. I was at a federal representative from the U.S. government. So our U.S. senator was having a town hall, and somebody just showed up when they were talking about our state governor and how they didn't like the state governor, and they were hoping that our national representative could do something about the governor. I'm like, those are completely different things. I mean, one's a state, one's a federal. You don't have control over the other. So I was just, you see things like that. People that don't always understand how things work, or they're passionate about something and they don't understand, or they come in heated and don't really have a level head on their shoulders about that particular thing. This clip is next.
Then we went and visited Honolulu City Hall.
Shut up.
I know.
Oh my God, what was it like?
It was amazing. Well, it looked amazing, but it was closed.
Oh my God, bummer.
A brief history of everything that has ever happened since Pawnee was founded. Not like you get extra credit for this, but I did type it from memory, and for the first time ever compiled, it includes a complete list of every official town slogan we've ever had.
Oh my God, Leslie.
I know, can you believe it?
Crazy.
And it made me laugh. This clip made me laugh because you do become a walking encyclopedia about the things that you do every day. My husband and I, he's actually from the area that we live in now. I am not. And he's always like, who is that? How do you know that person? I'm like, I don't know. I met at some meeting, or, I've been around long enough now. I just come across people daily. I'm also a little more social person than he is, and so I just pick up on people. But I laugh because I'm like, you're from here and I'm not, and I know way more people than you. But so you get to know a lot of people. You also get to know a lot of facts about where you live that you would never have to know, or probably would never research on your own. And Luke and I, when Luke Mann used to work here, and now he runs Irrigation Hills Brewery, he used to be even more like this. We're both kind of statistical nerds, like statistics, the class in college. There was a lot of people that hated that class. That was actually a class I really liked. I think of statistics as math, and it's not math at all. It's more reading different statistical data and then making sense about what that really means. So the census, we love the census around here. A lot of economic development people do, because it tells you, it gives you a parameter, it gives you goal meter on if you're actually attaining what you're trying to do, which is ultimately trying to turn around population loss. So when the census comes out, I wish it could come out more often. I get the problems with that and the logistical challenges of that, but when the census comes out, we all get really excited because then we actually have stats and numbers to put toward what we've been working on and to tell you what's been working, what's not, what's actually making a change. So that's really fun. But yeah, encyclopedia about where I live, that's probably me. And then this clip is our last clip for the Parks and Rec episode of Less People. Here we go.
Because you haven't had a single meeting with anyone since I became your assistant. That's because every time someone calls and requests a meeting with you, I always schedule it for March 31st.
Why?
Because I didn't think March 31st existed. 30 days has September, April, March, and November.
June and November. Today is March 31st.
I know.
So then how many meetings do I have today?
93.
The amount of meetings. There are all kinds of meetings in this job. I used to, when I first came about as economic development, I used to go to meetings in the morning, and then I'd go to work all day in the morning, and then I would go to a lunch meeting, and then I would go to work in the afternoon, and then I'd come back for an evening meeting. There are tons and tons and tons of meetings. This job is about knowing people, hearing people, listening to people, and getting people's input and feedback. And you can only do that when people are available. Most people have other jobs. It's a volunteer-led community, and most people are not available during regular hours of the day, like regular 8 to 5 working hours. So economic development people tend to have to meet in the night times or before work or at lunch to actually get that input from those people. I also get a lot of phone calls and a lot of emails from people needing help or wanting some guidance on different subjects. I actually, funny story, got on some sort of a call list. I have no idea. I don't know if somebody tried to steal my information or somebody wrote me down on some sort of credit card, or I don't know what happened. But either way, anyways, I started getting spam calls. So in addition to all of the phone calls I get for work, I got spam calls, and they were at first like every 5 minutes I would get a spam call, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I started having to write it down and push block on every single one every 5 minutes. Finally, that has slowed down, but I got back from vacation, and the first thing my phone did was start giving me spam calls again. So, welcome to the spam call world. All right, that's my points about Parks and Recreation and the actual relating it to work as an economic development person. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Again, answer our podcast question this week. Are you an Office fan or are you a Parks and Recreation fan? Which one is a better show? I will talk to you again next week on another episode of Less People.